I have never seen the Broadway musical of Cats, and when I heard a feature film was coming out, I thought I would have a different perspective on the musical, seeing it for the first time in the film adaptation.
It's created a language between dancers and actors.
One of the main selling points of this film was this state-of-the-art digital fur technology.
We've used digital fur technology to create the most perfect covering of fur.
These are people, but they're cats, and this is kind of blowing my mind.
This holiday season, I will believe, whatever that means. There were some aspects of this production that I do really like. I enjoyed how bizarre it was. I appreciate all the dedication. I appreciate the people cared. Some people actually did their job pretty well. Like the team who built the sets did a kind of good job. Everything was scaled up to make the actors appear smaller, more cat-sized. There's some good dance choreography I could make out in between the fast-paced editing. In July, Universal released the first trailer for this film. Cats! Coming this summer! And people did not respond well. I really was weirded out by just the look of this film, as were many other people. They altered the look of the cats after the first trailer because it got such a bad reception. Tom Hooper said, "It reminded me of what my original intention was, which was to not have the visual effects get in a way and to protect the human face in the design."
There's like tears coming out of my eyes.
And so began a 7-year oh my god, 7 years. And then I looked up Steven Spielberg's animated adaptation of Cats, which was supposed to come out. At that point it was in pre-production, but there's all this concept art that's really cool.
From Gravesend up to Oxford, I pursued my...
There's only so much footage I can show you of this film, as Universal Studios doesn't want me to use their footage from their films for some reason. On top of that, this is a musical and I can't play any of the music. I guess I can pitch shift it or add some filter. I guess this is good, right? You know, when I review a film, I love being able to show the beauty of the cinematography, lighting, frame composition. I guess this looks better though.
It's clearly trying to go for a different tone. It doesn't seem as fun or as playful as the Broadway musical. But you know, let's give it a chance.
The film starts with a cat face in the clouds. Alright. Then some synth starts playing, and a human-sized human throws a small-sized CGI cat human into an alleyway. We follow a group of cats that have very cat-like names. I'm gonna go through the names right now. And afterward, I'm gonna test myself on it. So Jennifer Hudson is playing... Jennifer Hudson is... Grisabella? Okay. Judi Dench is Mrs. Mistopheles.
Old Deuteronomy?
Judi Dench is Old Deuteronomy, who has a song. Taylor Swift is Bombarella. Rum Tum Tugger. Okay. She's Bustopher Jones, Rumpelstil, she's Jenny Anydots. Francesca Hayward is Victoria. Idris Elba is McCavity. Plato and Socrates. Ian McKellen is Old Dumplestein or something. These cats don't just have one name, they have 3 names.
When I tell you a cat must have 3 different names.
I was waiting for that to come into play in the story. They sing about how they're jellicle cats.
I'm not liking the look of the cats at all. Whoa. Did they really do that, or was that CGI? I don't know. Why am I even watching the movie? I can't even tell if it's a real performer doing it or if it's just a bunch of CG. You can adapt it well, or you can adapt it really poorly. And every choice they made in adapting it's like, why did they choose to make the cats look like this? People didn't respond to it well at first. Why didn't they just wait? We're gonna delay the movie and redesign all the cats to make it better, or maybe just make it an animated movie.
My mum museum.
Come on!
He just cut to a random, like, close-up of a guy. Come on!
Come on!
What's your name?
Cat got your tongue? Victoria.
You don't have to pause for the audience to laugh.
Every year they have a Jellicle extravaganza, and they have to pick one winner cat that they choose to ascend up in a giant balloon and go to heaven or something. Victoria just runs into a character, they sing a little bit, and then she runs into another character and they sing a little more. Rebel Wilson, you should perform on Broadway.
Cats are not the only creatures shown in the film. There are also CGI mice with like little human heads on them that are way too small compared to the cats. And then you have these roaches. The proportions are so off and they keep changing during the movie.
Oh my god. Oh god. You know, making movies is hard. We're not even 15 minutes in, I feel like, and this is a nightmare. Oh, it's another character. Can we have another musical number? And he's eating a chicken leg? It's not even the CGI, it's the human faces on the model, and it's like the human hands and feet. Like, that's just Rebel Wilson's normal hand. Oh great, it's James Corden. You can sing his backstory now. I just wish they got better singers. Some of them are good. Obviously the people who weren't hired just because they're famous. McCavity shows up and just kidnaps Jenny Anydots with his magical powers. And now she just stumbles across Jennifer. Oh my god, with this nonsense. You got a little thing there. Oh, I think it's drying up.
Judi Dench shows up in a fur coat. Where did she get that?
She has to wear this coat that was like 80 pounds.
Yes. Yeah.
And she would bitch about it a lot. And I was just like, oh my God, Judi Dench is like bitching.
And I think the point of the original Cats is to be a little fun. And this is going for like a mystical, emotional. It's so uncomfortable to watch. Taylor Swift sprays a bunch of catnip all over a crowd of cats. God, I'm gonna need some catnip to watch this movie. McCavity shows up, Judi Dench's cat is kidnapped, and Mr. Mistopheles has to use some magic to bring her back, and she just comes back 5 minutes later.
Oh, she got away, but you never see, like, what happened.
I will get to the heavy side layer. I will win! You'll all see!
How am I supposed to feel when he goes like this? Is it supposed to be funny?
McCavity kidnaps Jenny Anydots and Buster Jones for no reason. And also Skimbleshanks he kidnapped? And then he kidnaps Ian McKellen? Where'd he get this boat? They try to add more of a plot to it by giving these characters things to do.
You'll drown in that river!
You'll never be my Jellicle choice.
This is your last chance!
Oh, never!
You can take any character as an example, like, let's look at Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer. For some reason, they've teamed up with McCavity to help him out. Why are all these cats working for Idris Elba?
Look, it was only a bit of fun.
We didn't know he was going to take old Jute.
Oh, she's got a nickname now, Old Dude. Then what did McCavity tell you he was gonna do, if he wasn't gonna kidnap Old Dude?
We didn't know he was going to take old Jute.
Rebel Wilson, earlier in the movie, zipped out of her regular skin and into some musical outfit, and she does the same thing right here.
Don't mess with the crazy cat lady.
Jennifer Hudson performs Memory, which I guess is supposed to be the Powerhouse song.
Very good. Okay, you won the cat competition. Can the movie be over now, please?
You are the best cat I have ever met.
The story's over. Just end the movie already. Jesus. Now it's over. Now it's over. Now it's over. There we go. Now it's over. It even ends with a cat face in the clouds. Just like how it started. I'm waiting for Tom Hooper to come out and be like, okay, the real movie's gonna start now.
There isn't much of a story or tension. I guess there's a villain we're introduced to, Idris Elba, who plays McCavity, but he doesn't really do anything. He wants to be the one chosen to be reincarnated, but it's not up to him. Judi Dench is just like, nah.
Never.
And that's it.
I choose the cat that deserves a new life.
He tries to hang on to the balloon at the end. I guess he falls into a building and he's fine. There's no story to tie these segments together, really. Half of these characters she meets never show up again, or they're in the background. The point of the original Cats isn't the plot. It's about Andrew Lloyd Webber's music. It's about the spectacle, the makeup, and the giant, colorful set. This movie has some spectacle. Wow. Amazing. Oh my god, this is incredible. Oh god, tap dancing? Man, I just love tap dancing. I wish I could clack my shoes together. Oh great, my catnip dealer's here. I can't wait to see where this joke goes.
When you're looking for some catnip, your old pal goes to the catnip dealer.
I'm sorry your big musical number got ruined, man. I feel really bad about it. And good luck getting home, okay? Just keep the ice against your head. Watching this has made me discover and appreciate the Cats show. I understand many people don't like this musical as well, but based on what I've seen, it's definitely better than this.
Go through that house like a hurricane.
It's quite a difficult one because they're meant to be felines, but they're also meant to be humans. So the makeup has got to be strong enough for the theatre to actually be able to be seen everywhere in the theatre, but not be too strong so that it actually masks out the character of the humans themselves.
Did you hear that, Mr. Director? The show was met with criticism at first, but maybe the reason it's so revered is because people looked past that and admired the creativity and the talent that went into making it.
And there'd never really been a dance show in England. And it was poetry being set to music with dance. I mean, it looked like a recipe for disaster.
It's not going to be a children's musical about pussycats.
No, not at all.
That's the exciting thing about the show. It won't be a jazz show, it won't be a balletic show, it won't be a modern dance show. It will be all these things, we hope, and also something that we've never done before.
This is probably my favorite song in the whole thing. It's got a good beat. The movie, of course, butchered it. I even watched this documentary about the making of the show. You can see how passionate and hands-on Andrew Lloyd Webber is.
Just a little bit less, a little bit less Joyce Grenfell, you know, and I think that, I think brilliantly done was the word brummel. I think to get to the word, you know, this brummel of cats is a real celebration of old Bustifer.
Earlier I mentioned Spielberg's adaptation, which never made it past development.
T.S. Eliot turned down Disney, you know, because he didn't want them to be pussycats or turned into cartoon cats. Well, I was sort of seeing them a little bit more like hot gossip, and she said, yes, she said, that I think Tom would have liked that.
I wonder if that's the reason why they never went through with it, although I don't know why that would stop them. Just pick one or the other. They made both at the same time.
Sometimes they crawl on the floor. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just walk around. It depends on what Tom Hooper feels like.
The humor feels so out of place in this film.
Stop milking it!
Basically, all of the jokes and puns made it into the trailers.
Cat got your tongue?
The film is just a series of scenes of the main character running into another character, and they sing their backstory. It's a talent show, so they do a little dance, they sing a little, they jump around, he jumps and hits his balls. They completely redesigned James Corden's cat from that first trailer to the final release. The old version of Buster Jones is way creepier looking than the new one. If you compare and contrast, you can see they added a couple cats in the background. They gave James Corden like big eyebrows and a big mustache. They made his ears a little less scary looking. There's parts of the trailer where you see James Corden's cat that are not in the movie. There's even this one part where he bounces his belly on a guy. Oh my god, look at the face on that. It looks like they just added whiskers onto a normal head. But in the movie, this part isn't there at all. It's replaced with this.
My visits are occasional to the senior education, and it is against the rules.
We've used digital fur technology. Digital fur technology.
She's still got the snot.
Yeah, here you go. They had about 5 months from the release of that trailer to Christmas to tidy up those visual effects, I guess. They really needed this to come out on Christmas if they wanted it to do well. On Christmas Day, there was a 97% increase in ticket sales, and having a musical like Cats that has broad appeal should have been a surefire hit, but because the film was rushed to hit that release date, it totally ruined the whole thing. They just had to start marketing it in the summer. What we saw in that original trailer was the very early stages of the CGI, or at least that's the excuse they use. The same thing happened with that Sonic movie, and they used that same excuse, oh, it was the early stages, we just finished filming and that was some early VFX work. They're just releasing footage of an unfinished product. This is our first impression of the movie. People love CGI. Instead of putting people in costumes, someone decided, I guess Tom Hooper, that it would be better to have everyone be CGI. I guess they thought it could sell tickets, and it definitely drummed up publicity for this film. And I know they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. Every other person I know who's seen this movie just talks about how creepy it looks. And not only does every character look like this, but we have to follow them around for the entire hour and 50-minute runtime. There is so much CGI that I just think it looks like an animated movie. So why wasn't this just an animated film?
So because you're looking around at this big room, which has got lots of green screens, actors...
Oh, no, you're wrong. I mean, most of the time, you're looking around at a vast set. I mean, we built all the props oversized, all the set. The only green screen environments were Trafalgar Square at the end and Piccadilly Circus, because they're just so vast. Yeah. Even though there was digital technology used in the character creation, I wanted to shoot it as much as I could as a conventional movie, so we built everything for real.
All this effort put into building these sets, and it ends up not even looking real because there's a bunch of CGI jumping cats all over the place. It's somewhere in the middle of an animated film and a live action film, and it's just kind of awkward.
This is all computer generated. So every single piece of fur is added by a computer. It's technology that's never ever been used in a film before.
I don't believe it.
I was in a big sort of round CGI suit that's also covered in dots, and then under that you have a suit with these computers, and then they add all the fur, the ears, the tail, everything. It's quite extraordinary.
It sounds unbelievable that they could do that. It seems like almost like you didn't even need to be in the movie.
It's only one way of looking at it, Jim.
Do you remember those Robert Zemeckis animated films like Beowulf? And then there was that movie Mars Needs Moms.
Chill out, man! I'm not the fuzz!
Robert Zemeckis was one of the greatest directors in Hollywood. He started devoting his efforts into directing and producing animated films. They really insisted this was some groundbreaking technology.
We've used digital fur technology to create the most perfect covering of fur.
I guess it's a technical accomplishment, but it doesn't look visually appealing. The atom bomb was a pretty major technical accomplishment too. The Broadway musical is so much more watchable than this film adaptation. At least I'm watching real people performing. It has some pretty good songs. It has a personality. A few years ago, to do something like this was impossible. That's just the thing now, is we have the resources to do anything. Yeah, it's now possible to motion track all these people and make them look like cats, and I guess you can make a movie of that, but is it a good idea? No! Why was this made? They enjoyed making it, and that's the reason enough. Let's get real.
Get real.
This isn't some little indie film. This is a multi-million-dollar studio product. They wanted it to make money. They wanted it to do well. Sure, it can have artistic integrity too, I'm not saying that. But holy shit, this is a disaster. Do you think this is what they wanted to invest in? The decision to make these cats look like this was a bad decision. Even though I thought this movie was just supposed to be a fun time, it's also going for some Oscars. Given the amount of money that was poured into the CGI, they were hoping for an award nomination for some of these things. They were probably hoping to win for a song. They were probably hoping to get nominated for Best Visual Effects. They take it about as seriously as the Oscar campaign for The Fanatic. They didn't even send out any screeners for the movie. They pretty much gave up on it. Maybe if they weren't pushing for this release date, the animators could have had more time to make the designs better. Maybe they could have brought in a director who's experienced with animation. Hollywood musicals have been doing great the past couple of years. At least one a year is able to break out and become very marketable. They're able to sell the soundtrack on the radio, they get big stars, the movies do really well. Then this year, Universal was like, get a load of cats. I appreciate that everyone was passionate, but there must be some understanding that a general audience has seen a ton of other musicals and movie musicals since the original Cats in 1981. What about this take on the story is fresh and interesting? Tom Hooper's been working on this for a long time. Clearly he was passionate about making them CGI cats and getting the technology to work. But it's just a live action adaptation of a play that was written 40 years ago. Why do we need to tell this story now? Who is this made for? People who have never watched Cats? Well, this doesn't make me interested in cats. This makes me terrified of cats. Is it for fans of cats? Do you think this singing and dancing is as good as what an audience would find in a Broadway play? I've always disliked this about movies based on musicals. It's the same thing with that Les Mis movie. The original Les Mis is an operetta, but in the musical you have phenomenal singers. You have Philip Quast playing Javert with this phenomenal voice. And then you have Russell Crowe.
Paradise that the
They enhance the roles of James Corden and Rebel Wilson's cat so that they can do more silly things and pad out the runtime. So in the original musical, Bustopher Jones was not sung by the James Corden character. It was sung by Jenny Anydots, Jelly Lorum, and Bombalaruna. So when there's tons of good singers and dancers in the world who could probably do a good job, why are we hiring these untalented, unfunny celebrities? James Corden has a talk show. He could drum up publicity for this movie, so let's hire him based on that. They did the same thing with the Lion King movie. They just put John Oliver in it. Go and see the Lion King in theaters.
I haven't seen Cats.
You are making a mockery out of this man's work. This film is like a joke. The entire cast had to attend acting school. I mean, cat school. Yeah, cat school. They did a lot of research for this musical to make sure it was true to the life of a real cat. The only one who I thought was a good singer and dancer was Francesca Hayward, hired based on her talent, not her star power. The film had about a $100 million budget, and it doesn't really show. There are some aspects of this film that are so butchered that it ruins the entire thing.
As cast members of the motion picture Cats,
when trying to talk about the music, I think watching the movie at the same time as listening to the music does it a disservice. I've chosen to just listen to it without the visual. Yeah, see, when I close my eyes, the movie I envision fun and, I don't know, silly. What they went with in the marketing of the movie and glowy orange lighting and emotional musical numbers that they highlight in the trailer. It's like they're going for those heartstrings. They really are. The musical was based on a book of poems by T.S. Eliot.
I'm frequently seen at the gay staging screen, which is famous for wrinkles and shrimps.
So Beautiful Ghosts is the song that was written by Taylor Swift, but in the movie, she doesn't sing it. Francesca Hayward sings it.
The film is seen through Victoria's eyes. First thing I said was, we have to have a song for Victoria. It's an incredibly important central part of the whole film.
And apparently she wrote it with Andrew Lloyd Webber. You know, he might have sat in a room with her for a day.
I played it to you and I said there's a new song. You said, I'll do the lyric, and you did it then and there, more or less.
The song isn't that bad though. It's not like when I was watching Aladdin and the new songs are just like blaring in your face because they were so different from the original songs and they were just really bad. This one doesn't really stick out that much, but it's so transparent that they wrote this song because they wanted to get an Oscar nomination for Best Original Song so they could perform it at the Oscars and get publicity for their movie Cats. It's a big publicity show, and it was an excuse to get this movie in the spotlight.
Spotlight.
That's probably how they got Taylor Swift to sign on to this kind of thing. They told her, look, we'll give you an original song, you get to work with Andrew Lloyd Webber, and you get to be in the movie for like 5 to 10 minutes, doesn't even matter. You just gotta show up in a green screen suit and we'll CG like all this cat stuff on you. And she's like, okay, it'll take a few days.
The cavities, not there.
The cast sang live on set. It makes the singing sound more organic to the scene, but it doesn't sound as good. It worked for Les Miserables. Does it really work for Cats? Jennifer Hudson's supposed to be really sad at this part, but she also performed the same exact song on The Voice, just normally, and it's better. It's a trade-off I guess Tom Hooper was willing to make.
Smartest jumpsuit.
Les Miserables was the first musical he directed. Very kind of grounded and up close. The colors are definitely more vibrant. It's going for a goofier tone. This in a way is supposed to be a tribute to cats, the actual animal. You know, cats are really cuddly and cute. That's why people have them as pets. Who would keep this thing as a pet? Get a bunch of real cats to act this out. Well, when I talked about cats in my 9 Lives video, I mentioned how you can't get a cat to do anything because they're all lazy, unless it's like an animated cat. See, this is what they should have gone with. I appreciate that Universal gave total creative control to Tom Hooper. It's just the film he made is so bizarre.
Digital third technology.
Tom Hooper? Is that you? Where am I?
Oi, what's up, mate? I was having some tea and crumpets when I heard you were making fun of my new Cats film. Well, I'm gonna challenge you to the death. Let's go, mate!
Judi Dench watching from the sidelines.
I was cast as Grisabella in 1981 and did all the rehearsals, and then just before we opened, I snapped my Achilles tendon, and I thought that that was my history with cats. But it turns out not to be. As magical Mr. Mustar.
Let's read some IMDb user reviews for cats, because if you want great film criticism, that's where you go. The reviews are abysmal. Oh my god, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. This isn't sorted by lowest rating first. This is the default setting. I don't mean to dogpile on it, or cat pile on it. You can make anything into a good movie. Even this. I mean, the foundation was there. As it stands, it does feel kind of rushed.
Spread out his whiskers.
Tom Hooper was basically scrambling to get this movie done the day of the premiere. Universal released another version of the movie after the initial release that fixed some of the visual effects. You can't patch a movie like this. It's ridiculous. You know, 10, 20 years ago, they'd have to deliver the film canisters to the theater. You couldn't make any changes then. If you did, it would be a big pain in the ass. Now I guess the studios just send these movies over Google Drive to the theater. They just stream it over Wi-Fi. Is there a final version of this movie even? Is the version I'm watching right now even the one they released in theaters? Or did they touch it up a bit? This is so dishonest.
I'm having trouble breathing in. I'm having trouble breathing in. Oh yeah, I'm watching Cats.